Hi everyone, thanks for watching this short video where we're going to give you the basics of remarketing campaigns. We're going to touch on an overview of remarketing and walk through a few tips here at the end of this video. My name is Mia Pruitt and I'm joined here by my colleague Sean O'Connor.
Hello everybody.
And we're going to be your hosts here today. So in today's video, first we're going to cover what remarketing is, and then we're going to show you some examples of the different remarketing ad formats. And then finally at the end we'll go over a few tips. I'm going to hand it over to Sean to walk you through the basics of remarketing.
Thanks a lot, Mia. So, what is remarketing? Remarketing is a form of online advertising that allows you to show ads to shoppers who have been to your site before and already have an interest in your products. Unlike other pay-per-click ad formats that are based on search queries or keywords, remarketing ads only target people who have been to your site before. Let's look at an example. Remarketing is a lot like advertising déjà vu. Earlier in this week, I was on the W Hotels website, and a few days later was checking out a news article. Notice how we see an ad for the W Hotels on the right side of the screen? It's not a coincidence. The W Hotels is wisely using a remarketing campaign to target people who have already had an interest in their hotels. You can do the same for your products. The basics of remarketing are pretty simple. Remarketing ads show to users as they continue to browse the web on blogs, news sites, and other websites that are relevant to the customer, not just the search result pages. Remarketing campaigns also allow you to create unique audience lists which segment out your potential customers. Mia will talk about this a little bit more later on, but remarketing ads are a little different from these other types of ads because they're tailored to target audiences so specifically. Lastly, these ads have a little bit more freedom and flexibility as well, so you can include offers and incentives to lure customers back that you may not normally have been able to do so. Now that we have an idea of what remarketing is, let's look at the different type of ad formats that are available to you. Broadly, there are two major types, standard ads and dynamic ads. A common standard ad is the text ad, which is going to include your store's headline, landing page, call to action, or deal. Another form of standard ads is the custom designed ads. These have a little bit more pizzazz than the text ads, and these ads are catered to match the design of your landing page, as you can see above. These are great for branding campaigns and just lifestyle campaigns as well. The second type of major ad format is the dynamic ads. And dynamic ads are a little bit different from the last two we saw because Google does most of the work for you. And additionally, you can only send customers back to product pages. This is because Google uses a connection to your Google Merchant Center to pull out product data that includes the product title, the product image and price, and then creates a unique ad based on this information. The above are just a couple of examples. You can use Google's ad templates to modify the backgrounds and buttons to make them fit your brand. Now I'm going to head it back over to Mia to talk about some tips when setting up your first campaign.
All right, thanks Sean. Let's dive right into these tips. Okay, so now that we've looked at the different ad formats Sean went over, let's look at how to get started. So getting started with remarketing is very similar to other AdWords campaigns. So first, you'll begin by finding the remarketing tag provided by Google AdWords and then implement that into your template just by copying and pasting. Now this tag is going to tell Google which customers to track by adding a cookie to their browsing. And then, once the tag is added to your template, it can take about 24 to 48 hours to be recognized, but once it is, you can create your first ads and audience lists. Which brings us to tip number 2, utilizing audience lists. So with remarketing, automatically generated lists can be great to use as a starting point. And you can see that you already have some great options here through the automatic lists, such as breaking your audiences into general site visitors, product page viewers, shopping cart abandoners, and then also past purchasers. Now, if these automatically generated lists don't fit your needs, you can actually move to even more custom lists to do other types of advanced targeting. Okay, let's move to tip number 3. Know how to track your campaign success. So with remarketing, it's important to understand that not every ad click is going to result in an immediate conversion. So sometimes those visitors will view an ad and then come back later on to purchase through another channel. So with remarketing, you'll want to look at your direct conversions and your view through conversions to track campaign success. And you can see both of those in your AdWords campaign. And then once you have that data, you can optimize your campaign based on that conversion data and then also click-through rates to see what's performing best. And talking about what's performing best, that moves us right along to tip number 4. Test to see what works best. So remember that as with any marketing campaign, one size isn't going to fit all. So you want to experiment with the different remarketing formats. You can test out dynamic remarketing versus standard remarketing that Sean talked about earlier. And then also you can test your ad content. So you want to A/B test often. You can test images, button colors, promotional text. All of that can have an impact on your conversions, and you'll want to see what performs best so that way you can roll it out to other campaigns. Okay, that wraps it up. We hope that you learned a little something about the basics of remarketing campaigns. However, there are a lot of other advanced strategies for remarketing, and we'll try to cover those in a future video blog post, so check back soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.